Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to NoDQ Live right here on NoDQ's YouTube channel. I would like to thank you guys for checking out the video either live or on demand. I appreciate the support. If you are watching live, please spread the word, tell a friend. Michael says, what a maneuver. We just saw the conclusion of Raw. I witnessed it literally seconds ago. Braun Strowman defeated Big Show as we expected in a cage match. The ring was reinforced, and afterwards we saw Braun Strowman cut a promo on Brock Lesnar. And then afterwards, Strowman decided to send an extra message. Braun Strowman picked up Big Show and power slammed him literally through the cage wall. And that looks to be the end of Big Show, aka King Kong Bundy. Let's see some of the comments here. Again, if you're just tuning in, thank you for watching. Please spread the word, share this on social media, tell a friend. Let's look at some of the comments here. Is Alexa Bliss a babyface now? That's a great question. I was a little intrigued by what happened on Raw. I was expecting WWE to do Alexa Bliss versus Nia Jax at No Mercy, but instead, we are now getting a fatal four-way match, which includes Nia Jax, Sasha Banks, and Emma. So Emma is finally getting a chance. And by the way, apparently she has new music once again this week. What do you guys think about Emma's latest theme song? This is like the third change. And speaking of changes of theme songs, we have Jason Jordan with yet another update to his theme song. He now has rap lyrics added to his theme. What do you guys think about that? Do you think it's an improvement or not? Let me know. Let's look at some of the comments here. Emma is trash. 3 more weeks until she's injured again. That is from Anthony Jacob. That is quite harsh right there. Jason who? Man, you guys are harsh tonight. Jason Jordan was in the opening match against John Cena. WWE showed the footage from 15 years ago when John Cena made his big SmackDown debut. The whole ruthless aggression thing, taking up Kurt Angle's challenge. And WWE was comparing that to 15 years later with Jason Jordan trying to be the new upstart facing the veteran John Cena. Cena won, of course. He gave props to Jordan for putting up a great fight, the old college try. And then we had Roman Reigns come out. We had Cena Reigns, the verbal debate, part 2, which I thought was not quite as strong as last week's, but it was still a very entertaining segment in my opinion. Hey everyone, for those of you saying hi, we have 83 viewers right now. Let's try to get this well past 100. Please share this on social media, tell a friend, and let's try to boost up the numbers for this. Thank you guys again for watching. Any questions you have here, feel free to send them. When will Finn Balor get a compelling feud? I think when he's done feuding with Bray Wyatt, quite frankly. I said this last week on my Rift Rants video. I'm over the Bray Wyatt gimmick right now. It needs a major overhaul, and anybody who's involved with him, I think, is going to be held down at this point, and that includes Finn Balor. I guess they're going to do the rubber match at No Mercy, whatever. I'm not really that invested in it. Somebody said Bray Wyatt needs to retire already. Another person said Bray Wyatt needs to turn face. That's what I'm thinking. It should have been done last year, but he got hurt, and then he came back as a heel. The whole thing really did not make much sense. Braun Strowman equals genius booking. You have to give credit to WWE. They have booked Braun Strowman like a bona fide monster. They have done it right with him, and he has looked impressive as hell. I love these spots they're doing with Strowman, breaking the ring with Big Show, and then tonight slamming Big Show through the cage wall. And also the segments with Roman Reigns in the ambulance. I mean, they're really portraying Braun Strowman as like this Hulk. He's like this superhero monster. I'm not going to say a superhero, but some of the fans see him as a superhero when he's feuding with somebody like Roman Reigns. NoDQ Wrestling Trivia Challenge question. How many times has Big Show turned? That is a great question. I'm not even sure I know. I do not know off the top of my head. Maybe somebody out there knows. By the way, quick plug for Wrestling Trivia Challenge. The season finale is coming up. It is coming up this weekend. Maybe Friday, maybe Saturday, but it will be up this weekend. Jeff Meacham versus Greg Cherry Part 2. This time it's personal. Greg Cherry faced Jeff on the second edition and was only 1 point away from tying Jeff. He lost by 1 point basically, and Greg Cherry is looking for redemption. Will he be able to beat Jeff, who is currently 9-0 heading into this season finale? Do you think Undertaker versus Cena at WrestleMania is a possibility? I would say anything's a possibility, but I personally do not want to see it. I really have no interest in it. Highly unlikely, as Mouth316 says. When will we know the size of Batista's you-know-what? Maybe Jeff knows that. He's the trivia expert. Jeff should know that answer to that question. Who is Vince's pick, Roman Reigns or John Cena? I think Vince McMahon is going to want to go with the younger investment. I think Vince wants Roman Reigns to be everything that John Cena is, hence them referencing that in the promo last week. I think that if Roman Reigns can improve on the mic, and maybe a heel turn would work for him, but we all know how WWE is. Reigns just hasn't really found it with the promos. He has been able to perform in solid matches. He's able to deliver in that regard, but the promos, when he's out there with Cena especially, his weakness definitely shows. And, Cena has the ability to ad-lib and be able to think very quickly. Reigns, he comes up with the typical "you're a bitch" type insults at Cena. It just isn't working. We'll see. Time will tell if Roman can really catch on. But it's been, 5 years now, and he just hasn't really evolved on the mic. And we do have over 100 viewers right now, so thank you guys for tuning in. Ricky Lawson, is GFW making the Rosemary Sexy Star incident a storyline? I don't think they are. I think they're just trying to get some views for Impact by promoting the story. I mean, the shows are already taped through the beginning of November and Bound for Glory. So I don't really see the purpose in doing that. I mean, that's also going to offend a lot of people. So I don't know what's going on with them. You never know with GFW what they're capable of doing. Thoughts on Jason Jordan tonight? I thought he looked good. I mean, I wasn't expecting him to be able to put up much of a fight, and it was a glorified squash match, although Reigns acted like Cena should have put him away faster or whatever. I was okay with it. I do not think it did Jordan any favors, but I do not think it killed him necessarily. They need to turn him heel. I mean, that's such an easy solution to say somebody should turn face or they should turn heel when their character's not working. But in Jordan's case, he needs something, anything. I mean, as much as I would like to see somebody like Ambrose go babyface, or heel I should say, Ambrose is over as a babyface. That's working right now, so you can make that argument. But with Jordan, the guy's just not going anywhere. I mean, he's on a treadmill, basically. The Foundation says Bayley returns as Sister Abigail. That would be interesting. Although I think I like the idea better of her coming back and, the Hardys get broken. When is that ever going to happen, by the way? It seems like that's just dragging. But I'd love to see the Hardys go broken and Bayley gets broken with them. And that gives her character a little bit of edge. And you don't necessarily have to turn her heel. Do you find that Reigns and Cena fans are huge hypocrites? I'm not sure what you mean by that exactly. Maybe you could clarify that a little bit. I missed that one. These questions go by so quickly. Is the broken gimmick dead? It seems like it right now. I mean, there's been no real news on it, and apparently from GFW's side, they are not negotiating anymore. So it seems like it's dead. I really don't know, but I would hope that at some point that will be resolved and we can see the broken gimmick. I mean, it just feels that with every week that goes by, the Hardys become less and less important, and they come off like a nostalgia act. So I'm hoping they'll be able to do the gimmick and do something. If you can't do the broken gimmick, then maybe do something else. Try a new concept. Experiment. I mean, that's what reinvented their careers in the first place. So maybe you just got to do it again with something else. Will Corey Graves eventually leave Raw? If they could get a replacement for him, I mean, I guess I am a fan of Graves being on both shows because he's arguably the best announcer they have right now. But at the same time, the problem I see with it is that Raw is supposed to have exclusive people and SmackDown is supposed to have exclusive people. So when Graves is doing both shows, in my opinion, it waters down the whole brand split a little bit. That's just my take on it. But I mean, I would say he's probably the best announcer right now. So if you have nobody else ready to go, then I guess you put him on both shows. I mean, it's better than having Byron Saxton on both shows. I'll just leave it at that. When will NoDQ video return? No idea. It's on hiatus right now, but I'm doing this live Q&A, so no time to prepare. I'm just answering questions off the top of my head here. And in a way, I like it. And you guys wanted it last week after I did the first one, the first live one on YouTube, I should say. So this is going to be a weekly thing, Monday nights, Tuesday nights. Just please keep spreading the word. Share this video on all the social media outlets, Facebook and Twitter. Most underrated match you've seen this year? I would say the Big Show Braun Strowman match from the Staples Center Raw that I was at. That was a really solid match, and they were doing the chain wrestling and that second match. I mean, Big Show, I think in general, has been very underrated. I think people really don't give him enough credit, and he busted his ass tonight. Big Show made Braun Strowman look like $1 million. I mean, Show was just totally unselfish. He was going out there and he did his job. He put over Braun Strowman in a major way and gave Strowman some real credibility. Big Show, I mean, he looked exhausted. I mean, he was climbing up the cage and he did that elbow drop and then he gets power slammed. I mean, Big Show took some significant bumps for a guy his size. So, people that give Big Show a hard time, the guy is really underrated in my opinion, and I think he proved that tonight. He maybe there are some times where he didn't have his working shoes on, and maybe for good reason because of the way he was being booked, but Big Show went out there and he earned his paycheck in my opinion. So I was really impressed. What will be Bobby Roode's first feud? I mean, maybe Dolph Ziggler. You just have to look at some of the heels. Maybe they'll do something with Ziggler. I'm not sure. What do you guys think? Leave a comment. Who should Bobby Roode's first full-fledged feud be against? Leave a comment. Should Finn Balor be a cruiserweight? No. Balor is too big of a star to be a cruiserweight. I think that would definitely be a demotion. With Enzo, I mean, Enzo has been booked very poorly and he was never the world champion. I mean, Finn Balor has already been established as a world title contender, being the first Universal Champion. So in my opinion, it would be a big mistake to put him in the Cruiserweight division. It would be a big step down for him, in my opinion. Should the Wyatts get back together? I think that's a possibility. I'd rather see Bray Wyatt go back to being a babyface, but Harper and Rowan have nothing going on right now whatsoever. So you could potentially do something at the upcoming pay-per-view, No Mercy. You could maybe have a Wyatt family reunion, and then Balor needs to even the odds, so he gets the Good Brothers to help him out, and they are a babyface trio, or even maybe turn Balor heel. Maybe have Anderson and Gallows interfere first to set up a heel turn for all three guys, and then you bring back Harper and Rowan and the Wyatt family. They are the baby faces. So that's an idea too, but I'd love to see maybe for Survivor Series the Wyatts versus the Balor Club. How about that? Balor heel turn. I mean, some people think it would be good. I mean, I haven't really seen much of Balor's work in Japan, but I've seen people praise Balor as being a heel when he was there in Japan. So maybe that would work. I mean, I think he's better off as a babyface with his demon gimmick, and I think that the potential to sell merchandise with the character, the action figures, and all that. I just think from a marketing standpoint, he's better off as a face, but you could potentially have him heel. Put the club and the Whites together and form a new NWO. That would be really interesting to have like a merger, something like the alliance with WCW and ECW. That would be creative, but I really don't see that happening. I mean, when do we ever see like WWE do something like that? Or like the corporate ministry. There's another idea. You know, when they had the corporation and the ministry form a super faction. I mean, that would be really interesting. I actually like that idea, but I don't think they're going to do it. What do you think about a tag team with The Undertaker and Funaki? Not sure why. Of all the questions here, I read that one. They should have just brought back Funaki for a joke, you know, announce the replacement, JBL's replacement for SmackDown, and they bring out Funaki as a joke just to troll everybody. That would be really funny. What about an old TNA faction? I missed the other part of your question. What's the worst show you've been to live? Maybe SummerSlam 2010. That one was pretty awful. That's the first one that comes to the top of my head. I wasn't really a big fan of 2012's SummerSlam either. I just thought Triple H and Brock Lesnar was really disappointing, and the triple threat with Cena, CM Punk, and was a big show. I'm not even sure off the top of my head what that match was, but I thought that SummerSlam was quite lackluster. I'm not sure off the top of my head. I mean, if we're counting pay-per-views, I mean, there were some pretty boring Raws that I've been to. I mean, the worst Raw I went to was 2009, right after that whole Denver Nuggets debacle, and Raw ended up moving from Denver to Los Angeles, and they had like a tag match. It was the show where Kennedy got fired, right before he got fired, where he came back. They had the Lakers versus the Nuggets, and then Orton got hurt by Mr. Kennedy, and then Mr. Kennedy got released. That Raw I thought was terrible. So that one was probably my pick for the worst Raw I've been to off the top of my head. How about a number 30? I missed it. These questions are going by so quickly. Thoughts on Heroes of Wrestling from 99. Worst pay-per-view ever. I mean, that about sums it up. I think when I did the worst pay-per-views of all time video, that was definitely mentioned. It is an all-time blunder of a show. Just a complete mess. Randy Orton versus Bobby Roode. I like that. That would be an interesting feud. Maybe if Randy Orton's turning heel. I mean, we're still not really sure. I don't think it was a heel turn like I mentioned last week. But if Orton does go heel again, Bobby Roode versus Randy Orton, I really like that. It's something fresh. I'm all for it. Oh, number 30, entering the Royal Rumble with nobody left. That would be a real troll job. I'm not a fan of that because it would basically mean that the Rumble winner didn't have to do anything. And I think that, yeah, it's cute, but I think there would be a lot of backlash for that. It sounds like something Vince Russo would do. They could have done that in 99 where everyone got eliminated and then Vince came out at number 30 and won the whole thing. Maybe that would have been more creative than what they actually did. Instead of having McMahon and Austin in there, number 1 and number 2, and then Vince sitting out there in commentary the whole time. I actually like that idea. If they were going to do that, they should have done it back in 99. Do you see Matt and Jeff having singles runs? I think there's a good chance that they will break off. Maybe not necessarily have a split, but I could see them going off on their own again. Maybe Jeff Hardy gets one last run. I think it depends on the broken gimmick. If Matt and Jeff can do it, then I think there's a better chance. I mean, Matt could maybe go far if he's able to do that gimmick the way he was doing it in TNA. Doffman rules, I missed the question. I just see thoughts there and the other one faded out. These go so quickly on here. Who beats AJ for the US title, KO or Bobby Roode? Interesting question. I would not have AJ lose it anytime soon. I would keep him as the U.S. champion since we had so many title changes back and forth. I certainly would not have Corbin do it. That, to me, I mean, they might do it to try and rebuild Corbin, but I'm not a big fan of it. Unless AJ's getting back into the WWE title mix. Then, whatever. If you want to have Corbin beat him. But if AJ's not going to be in the WWE title picture, then keep the US title on him for the foreseeable future. I think if WWE does do Styles and Nakamura, I have a feeling it's more likely to be for the US title than the WWE title. Cruiserweights wrestled with no purple ropes and logos. Your thoughts? It's been like that for a while, at least with the ropes. They got rid of the purple ropes weeks ago, and I'm not surprised, with the budget cuts, WWE getting rid of Pyro. You really don't need the purple ropes. I think that we've all been saying this for the longest time. I don't think anybody misses the ropes. Your ideal main event for next year's WrestleMania. John Cena versus Roman Reigns. If you watched NoDQ video number 1000, I did do my proposed WrestleMania card for 34, and Cena versus Reigns was one of my matches, and WWE is giving it away at No Mercy, which I will be at, by the way, at the Staples Center. Now, they could end up doing a rematch. Would not shock me if that happened. I mean, it's looking like it's going to be Reigns versus Lesnar, but anything's possible. There's still, 9 months? My math is bad. I don't know. Something like 9 months, 8 months, something. But it's still got a ways to go until we get to WrestleMania 34. They could always change their minds. Vince could go back and forth and decide to do something else. Maybe depending on how over the Cena-Reigns match goes at No Mercy. If that match is a huge hit, then WWE might want to strike the iron when it's hot and book a rematch for WrestleMania. Who dethrones Jinder? I'd like to see it be Nakamura, but I'm not getting my hopes up. When I did my proposed card for WrestleMania 34, I did mention the idea of Mahal dropping it to Nakamura, and then AJ Styles wins the Royal Rumble to set up Styles Nakamura at WrestleMania. That is the match for the WWE title for the internet fans, and then my idea was that Reigns and Cena would be for the casual fans. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think my WrestleMania 34 card is unlikely to be a reality. I mean, I think that maybe one or two of those matches might happen, but for the most part, I think it was just wishful thinking on my part. Why does Sasha Banks hate her fans? You would have to ask her that question. I don't think she hates her fans. I think that she's very, I'm not sure what word I want to use for this. I mean, she just doesn't want to have her privacy invaded. She likes to be a private person, and when she's at the live events or the autograph signings, then she's fine. But when she's on her time, I think she wants her privacy to be respected. And I can see both arguments to it. I get what she's saying, but on the other hand, somebody like The Miz says, the fans made me, and The Miz thanks the fans for paying his bills, and The Miz goes to every walk of life, and he will sign an autograph for these people. He will do whatever it takes as much as possible to please those fans and just show his gratitude to them. Why does Greg Cherry hate Boston? You would have to ask him that. Should Vince... I missed it. Who should beat Asuka? Okay. I would not have her lose anytime soon. If she's going to Raw, then I would keep the streak going, build up, make her the female Goldberg, and let her go on a long streak. I'm not sure I would have anybody beat her anytime soon. Maybe they could book her versus Ronda Rousey someday. Maybe... I would have somebody else get built up over the next year and have that person beat Asuka rather than have somebody who's already established beating her. I think that a young female superstar could benefit from beating Asuka. I'm thinking back to with The Undertaker and Lesnar. Somebody could have benefited by ending The Undertaker's streak who wasn't established. And I was surprised that somebody like Lesnar did it because Lesnar really didn't need it. I mean, Lesnar is Lesnar. I just think, somebody could get the rub off of beating somebody who's undefeated. Same way that Kevin Nash, I think, beating Goldberg was a mistake because you had a lot of young guys. You could have built somebody up and you could have made somebody an instant superstar by having them beat Goldberg to end the streak. So I don't think Asuka should lose anytime soon. Emelina will beat Asuka. That I'm not expecting. I don't think WWE is that crazy, but I could see Charlotte or somebody like that, Becky Lynch, one of them beating Asuka. Would not surprise me. Or Alexa Bliss. I think WWE will not utilize Asuka to her fullest extent, and that's just based off of what we've seen with the other women. Should Bayley become Broken Bayley? Yes, I agree, 100%. Elias Sampson to beat Jinder. Hell, I mean, I think Elias Sampson has more credibility than Jinder Mahal at this point, if I have to be honest here. Why does Jeff hate Kevin Owens? I think Kevin Owens turned down Jeff for an interview. I mean, it was something like that. Owens rubbed Jeff the wrong way in person. I really don't know what happened. I mean, there are a few guys that have reputations. Owens, I never had an issue with him, even though I never really met him. I think Jeff tried to get an interview for him, and there was some sort of issue, and it just didn't work out. And I know Owens, back when he was Kevin Steen, he was close with a couple other friends of mine, and I think that they liked him for a while, but then they were on the outs with him too. So I don't know what happened. I don't know the details. I don't try to get involved in the drama. And why does Jeff hate Goldberg? Goldberg turned down Jeff for an interview. I mean, that I know that one for sure. Randy Orton is a tweener. I'm not sure what he is. I mean, I'm assuming he's a babyface. You know, people thought he turned heel when he set Bray Wyatt's house on fire, but I think Randy Orton is just a babyface character. You know, he goes out there, and the thing is, he's like Austin. You never trust a snake. So when it came to Orton hitting the RKO on Nakamura, Nakamura was getting too comfortable around him. He is a Viper after all. I mean, that's his gimmick. But I wouldn't necessarily say he's a tweener. Reigns, it seems like he is a tweener, and WWE is looking at it like he is a tweener at this point. Who is the biggest jerk wrestler you ever met? That would have to be Aaron Aguilera, a.k.a. Jesus. Was that his name in WWE? He was the guy who was Carlito's bodyguard, and John Cena beat him on a pay-per-view, and that was pretty much his entire run. That guy, wasn't a big fan of him in real life. Another guy, Luther Reigns. Look it up on the YouTube channel for Luther Reigns XMV. You'll find a clip where he pretty much almost destroyed our camera. Wasn't a big fan of him, either in the ring or outside the ring. Let's see. Oh, somebody said I suck ass. So I have a hater here. I have an enemy, just like Homer Simpson when Frank Grimes was giving him a hard time. Let's see. What else we have? Kenny Omega in WWE. I think it'll happen someday. Don't know when, but I would be shocked if he doesn't end up there. Pretty much everybody does. Even Sting ended up in WWE. I think the Young Bucks will be there. I think Kenny Omega will be there. It's just a matter of time. What match should close at No Mercy? And this is from Brandon. I like this question, Brandon. I mean, it's a very valid question. I think I would go with the Universal title match. I would try to put the Universal title match on as the main event as much as possible. But Cena and Reigns might get the most heat. I'm not sure. I think Cena and Reigns will get the most heat, but Strowman and Lesnar will be close. I think I would go with the Universal title match, but they're both pretty much equal as far as quality and star power goes. I mean, I think arguably you could say Cena and Reigns has even more star power, but it's a very valid question. What do you guys think? Which match do you think should close? What do you consider to be the true main event? I mean, I consider it a double main event, but if you had to pick one, which match do you think is the bigger match? I mean, I think I would go with Cena and Reigns as the bigger match overall, but with the Universal title, I'd like to see that be the closing match of the show, just to protect the title. Let's see here. Looking at some of the responses here. Oh, Taboo Tuesday returning. I'd like to see that happen. I think now that we're in the network era, you can bring it back. I mean, back then, it didn't work very well because fans wanted to know what the card was. I mean, it's really hard to convince people to spend $40, $50 on a pay-per-view when they don't know exactly what they're getting. Now that everyone's paying $9.99, you can experiment more. And I say bring it back. I mean, social media is bigger now than ever with Facebook, Twitter, and all that stuff. So I say do it. I say not Taboo Tuesday. I mean, you got SmackDown Live on Tuesdays. Apparently they're maybe going to be doing a Taboo Tuesday edition of SmackDown. But I say bring back Cyber Sunday as a pay-per-view. I like that a lot more as a concept than Hell in a Cell or TLC and so forth. Taboo Sunday, there you go. When is Miz losing his title? That I don't know. I mean, he might end up losing it to Samoa Joe when Joe comes back from his injury. Right now, it doesn't seem like there's any clear direction for the Miz. I mean, there was the speculation that it was going to be Miz versus Joe, and that never happened. So we'll have to wait and see. I thought they were going to do Miz versus Jordan, but that hasn't really been pushed either. But anyways, guys, we just passed the half-hour mark, so I will go ahead and wrap up this edition of NoDQ Live. I apologize if I did not get to your question. I'm getting so many of them here. It's pretty overwhelming, but I want to thank you guys again for tuning in. I will be back tomorrow night for another edition of NoDQ Live right after SmackDown Live. Send me more questions. Join the chat. We'll have a good time. And please keep spreading the word. I mean, we had over 150 live viewers tonight. Let's try to get to 200 tomorrow night. So share. Tell a friend. YouTube.com/AaronRift, NoDQ. Make sure you check out Wrestling Trivia Challenge this weekend. And stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest. I will see you guys next time.